Hello everyone, I'm ExtraCheesy87 and this is Let's Play the Somnium Files Part 9. In the previous video we delved into Iris's memories, learned that she had knowledge of the original Cyclops killings, possibly even thinks that we did it, and then she got kidnapped and murdered, which was not cool, didn't quite see that coming. Now we're back on the investigation trail to try and figure out what the hell's going on.
You're right. Got it, boss.
Okay. Where would I start? Date residence. Date, why the hell do you live in a shithole? I mean, I gotta check out the Date residence. Any signs that we committed mass murder? Mizuki is curled up on that. Man, it has not been a good week for Mizuki. Mom dies, dad dies, best friend dies. Whew. Like a small animal frightened by a predator. You can be as mean as you want, girly. I'm not gonna hold it against you. It's an Adora rabbit, a stuffed rabbit. I gave it to Mizuki on her birthday. Doesn't seem like she loves and cherishes it. Large speakers. There are some pretty heckin' big speakers. Mizuki's bed. She sleeps out in the damn open. Mine and Mizuki's clothes. Which ones are Mizuki's? A backpack. Mizuki's favorite metal pipe? What? Like if Mizuki was suddenly thrust into a JRPG, her starting weapon would be like a metal pipe she has? A coffee table? She was just at school and then suddenly it got overcome with zombies and they had to make their way out? Or something? That's supposed to be a Persona 1 reference. I don't really remember the plot of Persona 1. There's something about zombies at the start. A bench press? One-seater sofa. There's a three-seater sofa. Isn't that just called a sofa? Pot. Been looking like we're not getting all that. I guess now's not the time for humor. Seasonings and cooking equipment lying around. An oven hood. Alright, what up, Mizuki? Hey. Mizuki staring at the floor. So about the fishery cold storage warehouse? I feel like this was a mistake. I shouldn't have come here. About Iris? Okay.
Mizuki must know about Iris and Ota.
Of course. The news was distributed heavily across the internet. Not just in Japan, but worldwide.
Yeah, that I could see that making the news.
3 days ago, Mizuki discovered her mother's body. 2 days ago, her father's. This morning, 2 of her best friends. It is completely understandable that she is at her mental limit.
Can I be left alone for a while?
Yeah, that's fair.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Most unbelievable yeah in history. Can't stay by her side forever.
Iba, contact Abyss. See if they can get Mizuki a good counselor.
Or 4.
Understood.
Stayed with her for a little while, but we didn't speak. Having nothing more to say, I left. Oh, that's... Well, I guess to keep in the downer theme, let's go over here. When I visited the Sagan household, I found a Tomi with a hollow look in her eyes. She let me in and asked me to sit on the sofa. I agreed and sat down. After that, I couldn't say a single word. The silence waited on us both. How the iris is looking.
In the language of flowers, the iris means good news and hope. When I saw the flowers this morning, I just knew something good would happen.
Iris.
Steam is rising from the tea. Like a track though in the background. Elementary workbook? Kind of weird. Why would you have elementary work? Well, yeah, you're a teacher. You're an elementary teacher. And on the wall. I don't know what's up with all that. It's possible that dude that we saw, that dude here is the man in red. From Iris's memories. Since we saw them at the scene of what could have been Hitome's murder, question mark. Assuming she is the brown-haired lady, which I mean, I think she looks very similar. Talk to her. Hitomi is composed. Hiding her sorrow deep in her heart. Gentle but strong. That Iris?
Iris was my everything. We always went everywhere together. Whether it was buying clothes, or going to the movies, or taking a walk, or going shopping at the supermarket. When she was young, she would just hold one of my fingers. Her hand was too small to hold mine. Then it was 2, then 3, and finally she could hold my hand. But eventually, she left my hands altogether.
And that's pretty evocative.
She started crossing her arms, being independent, even though she needed constant attention growing up. Her memories are a part of this room, and always will be. When she was a baby, she fell off that sofa and cried and cried. One day, she tore up her picture book all over the floor here. Another time, she drew with crayons all over the window. She painted my portrait on Mother's Day. Scratches on the floor, chipped plates, burn marks on the table, stains on the cushions. Everything you see. It all holds a memory of her. But why?
That was really well done. I think there's something to be said for, like, so Iris dying, right? I'm not gonna say I was, like, emotionally impacted by it, but one thing that I think is kind of smart to do from a storytelling perspective is when death like that happens, especially to a character who hasn't been around for all that much. Like, you know, you haven't spent like 100 hours with Iris or anything to get like super attached to her. But framing that loss through the perspective of a character like her mother actually made it feel like way more impactful. Like, I wasn't all that much affected by Iris's death, but that little sequence there kind of gave it a lot of meaning. Just by seeing it through the lens of, like, the way her mother thinks about it.
Ota was one of my students. I taught him in elementary school. I heard it from the police. Ota tried to help Iris and ended up... I don't know what to say. I have no words.
I was like, the voice acting's really good for this section too.
Hitomi, my entire focus is on this case. Is there anything at all you can tell me?
I don't know if this is important, but
No, please, tell me.
I may have told you this already. I met Renju's wife Shoko twice before. The first time at the wedding, the second time a month ago. That second time was in the waiting room of the prison.
Okay.
Prison?
There's an acquaintance of mine from when we were younger. I visit them a few times a year. And by coincidence, I saw Shoko. I don't think she noticed me, but
Possibly be the man? Hey.
I recognized her as Renju's wife right away.
I mean, I could see something, like maybe you did attack her, but she lived, and she still visits him out of some weird sense of attachment? I don't know. I've seen stranger things.
She was there for the same reason I was, to visit one of the inmates.
Do you know who?
No, I don't. We didn't talk.
Which prison?
Fuchu Prison, in Tokyo.
Fuchu.
Prison?
Oh yeah, and we did get that thing from the person in prison, right? Yeah, I forgot about that for a second. The video message? Is that the same place?
I'm sorry to have bothered you. I'll be going now.
I don't know what to do. Thinking about her. Date, please, you have to catch them. Please. Please.
I will. Trust me.
Let's go to the diner. I think we'll save the storage for last. The place was silent. So quiet I felt like I could hear the floating dust. Stepped inside, I thought it was empty, but I saw a shadow in the corner of my eye. Mayumi, watching a decaying old tree cling pathetically to the earth. Probably not going to be any commentary from the clickings, so I'm not going to waste my time. Sorry to interrupt. About Ota. Talk about it?
This is your fault.
No, not in the slightest. I mean, you can be mad. I'm not going to be too angry at you, but...
I heard from the police. Because you didn't take care of Iris. My boy Ota got involved.
Your boy Ota committed felony assault.
Date, I looked into the investigation report. Mayumi confirmed Ota's body early this morning.
I see.
I'm sorry. I want to be alone right now. Did you not hear me? I said leave!
Date, let's go. She is in no state to talk.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not gonna be too mad at her, but you know, it's not our fault in the slightest. I'm still just like, I don't really know what the game.
Are you okay, honey?
Like, what was the game plan with tasing Date? Like, what did that accomplish? Because at first I thought they were gonna like kidnap him and, you know, do some crazy shit, but just leaving him there is weird. I mean, unless it was just really to have Iris like flee the country or something, because I mean, eventually Date's gonna wake up and you're on the hook for felony assault and like uber suspicious behavior. Because that's why originally I was thinking it was maybe she was faking her death, right? With the live stream? Because that seems like something that could have been faked, right? You know, have the blood splurt onto the camera screen, obscuring everything. But, you know, it's not actually her blood. It's, you know, Ota's like slightly off screen or something with like a blood packet or, you know, whatever. It doesn't need to make that much sense per se. Like, that's one of the main things for me. And it's a little hard to believe that, like, you know, as soon as they left, they got, like, kidnapped. I don't know.
Huh?
And then they definitely had something going on, right, with the whole that thing, so, I don't know. There's more there.
About last night. Well, at 3 in the morning, anyway.
You know about it?
It's on every channel. You have the face of a ghost. Do you want a glass?
I don't need a drink. I need information. Do you have anything?
Well, let's see. I do have... I suppose you could call it intuition.
Tell me.
We'll get looked at. Polishing the dried bonito. Information.
The Kumakuras are involved in this case.
Okay.
Remember what I told you before? That there's a relationship between Ren and the Kumakuras? Shoko also has a relationship with them. You know about her dealings with the Kumakuras, right?
Yep.
So basically, 2 of the victims are linked to the Kumakuras. That must mean they're involved somehow, right?
Not 2, 3.
3?
Presumably Iris. That could
Iris?
be that thing.
No, not that one. The boy.
Okay, not who I would have expected. How would Ota have any dealings with the Kumakuras?
He came here last night?
Ota?
Yes, from Matsushita Diner. He's linked to the Kumakuras as well.
How so?
Have you heard the rumor?
Mama told me a similar story to Aiba's about So Seijima and the Kawasaki district. Basic idea is this. 8 years ago, So sold his land in the Kawasaki district for 30 billion yen. Half a year later, an explosion at the chemical plant caused the land prices to drop drastically. So bought back the land for 1 million yen. Almost like he knew beforehand the accident would happen. Did So blow it up or conspire to blow it up? That wouldn't make sense. I think it does kind of make sense. I mean, I don't know if he necessarily like... I don't know if it was necessarily like, I'm gonna blow up a chemical plant to flood the air with contaminants and then, you know, 15 years from now, when people start moving back in, I'll make a killing. But the idea that he had knowledge of some sort of impending sabotage and just took advantage of it, that seems fairly likely. So I wouldn't gain anything from that. But like he does. It ended up with 29 billion in cash and 1 billion in land. the net zero. But the 1 billion in land is going to pretty quickly return to its original value. So you've basically like doubled your money in the long term. And liquid assets of having $29 billion in yen, or 29 billion yen, you can do a lot more with that than just like strict property values, right? That maybe are already being utilized. Not to say that property isn't valuable, of course, because it is, but if you could have the liquid value of the property and also the property, why wouldn't you do that?
The Kumakuras own a handful of real estate companies. They, of course, look legit, but they're Yakuza fronts. I'll call those real estate companies the KE to keep it simple for you.
Okay.
The KE followed in So's footsteps. They bought up land in Kawasaki.
Okay.
Now, back to So. Have you heard of the plans for the casino in Kawasaki? So was the one who came up with it.
I was born and raised in Kawasaki. I remember the landscape of my childhood, and I loved it dearly.
But that's all gone now, so let's, blackjack!
But look at Kawasaki now. When I see images of the destruction on television, my heart aches like it's being chopped to pieces.
What would if I had one?
But I promise you, I will revive the Kawasaki district at any cost. Casino Town Kawasaki will give new life to the city.
After that, So moved fast. He submitted the bills he needed to the National Assembly after drumming up support in the right places. The bills passed, and it became an official government initiative.
Decontamination efforts therefore increased at a rapid pace in the Kawasaki district. At the moment, the area is still considered off limits. However, the air in Kawasaki is currently purified to such an extent that it has no negative effect on the human body.
Well, that's what they want you to think.
If the plan goes smoothly, land prices in Kawasaki are going to skyrocket. And all that land is owned by the KE. And by So himself. The land he bought back for 1 billion will be worth 10 times that soon.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
He's involved in some shady business.
See, just listen to me, Date.
This is just another rumor, but the chemical plant exploding was no accident. It was done intentionally.
By So and the Kumakuras, you mean?
Now, I don't know. Blowing up the chemical plant intentionally does feel like a slight stretch. Just because, like... what if you get caught? But if you think it's like something that's going to happen regardless and you're just taking advantage of the fact, that kind of makes sense.
But there's no hard evidence of that. It's just gossip.
Because personally, I mean, granted, maybe this is because I'm not like an evil person. If I had 30 billion yen worth of property, my ass is not doing anything that would potentially lead me to being in prison. I'm not doing a damn shady thing. My ass is retiring off the profits.
What were we talking about again?
I wouldn't go through any sort of risky endeavor like, hey, let's blow up a chemical plant and hope that some super duper detective doesn't figure it out in 6 or 8 years.
Ota and the Kumakuras.
Oh, right. You know how Matsushita Diner is close to the Kawasaki district?
Mm-hmm.
The chemical plant explosion made times hard. Foot traffic went down, sales declined. No wonder it closed down. Ota must hold a grudge. Someone caused that explosion. And if it was intentional, oh, he'd hate them even more.
Wait, they are actually closed?
That's how I link Ota to the Kumakuras.
Well, that's not a real connection. That's just speculation. It doesn't necessarily not make sense, but I thought you'd have some hard evidence for me.
Thank you, Mama. I don't know if what you told me will lead to anything, but...
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to waste your time.
No, it was very helpful.
I'm glad I can help, even if it's just a little.
Well then, be seen.
So I mean, what we learned there? Ota has a connection to the Kamakuras, but
Come
like,
back anytime.
I don't know. Stepped into the cold storage warehouse. The air conditioning wasn't running, but it was still cold. The temperature hadn't raised much at all. The cold air sunk into my skin. The center of my body was burning hot. You got me? Clues?
No, nothing so far.
Any progress in the investigation?
I checked this place point by point, but didn't find nothing.
A lot of blood. Is Ota's blood? Evidence marker. Wheel drum, unlikely to be a clue. Unlikely. Cardboard box, nothing in it. Box.
There are only a few items on the shelf.
Is this warehouse not in use?
I think early. Book is hanging from there.
This forklift is old. It does not appear to be functional. It has not been moved in some time.
Non-functional forklift, covered in a layer of ice. Streaming equipment. Police officer. Another forklift. Iris and Ota were sliced in two by this ice cutting machine. Iris and Ota.
Iris's estimated time of death and cause of death have been confirmed. The video was not a recording. It was a live stream, filmed in real time.
Which means Iris's time of death is 3:20 a.m.
Iris also had her left eye removed.
Yeah.
And like Renju and Shoko, Iris's left eyeball has not been recovered.
Some Ota's blood.
A video camera and laptop. This is what the criminal used to stream. All of these items have been bought from pawn shops and thrift stores. It would be difficult to determine a suspect from them. I have logged into the Wi-Fi in this warehouse. Okiura Fishery Co., Ltd. is listed as the owner. However, I found the password written directly on the router. Anyone who saw it could have used it. I have done some research. As the name suggests, the company is owned by the Okiuras, the same Okiuras we know. Renju's father created the company.
Another connection to Renju.
Okay.
No, actually.
Or not.
Currently, Okiura Fishery has nothing to do with Renju.
What do you mean?
The company has been managed by office representatives for the past 17 years after Renju's father died.
I mean, that's not a direct connection, but...
Renju holds no shares and is not involved in the management. In short, Renju did not inherit the company from his father, and it was instead given to other persons.
But it can't be a coincidence.
Yeah.
It certainly is suspicious.
I mean, the symbolic connection's more important than the literal connection, I think.
Right here. Iris and Ota were...
I am sure you are already aware of Ota's time of death.
What was the gap?
just before I arrived. About 3:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And the cause of death.
Right, about that. Ota had a stab wound from a kitchen knife in his side.
Correct.
What was the exact cause of death? Was it the knife wound, or...?
I cannot determine that. I can conclude that the knife wound was at least close to being fatal. Even if Ota was still alive on the workbench, he was certainly on the verge of death. If he weren't already extremely weak, we would expect to see more signs of struggle.
Ota was trying to help Iris, jumping at the criminal. Led to a scuffle that Ota ended up with a knife wound in his side. Lost all his power to fight back. He was forcibly put inside the costume, then finally cut open by the ice cutting machine.
Why?
Yeah, that's a good
Why
question.
did the culprit put the costume on Ota?
Unknown.
What
Dante, we should get moving.
What have we learned? I don't know.
Officers from the local jurisdiction are checking the warehouse thoroughly.
I think the main thing we have to follow up on is maybe the prison guy, who apparently knew about the more murders are going to happen. That would be my assumption of what we should do next.
We will not find anything of importance here.
That feels like the most solid lead we still have to explore.
Yeah, you're right.
That or going back to talk to the Kumakuras.
You can ask CSI to inform you if they find anything.
Alright.
Heading out. Let me know if you find anything. Let them know and left the warehouse. When I left the warehouse, I saw Pewter. What was he doing here? Scheming? He walked up to me while I was trying to work it out.
Date, I have to talk to you about something.
Huh?
About the original Cyclops serial killings.
Why this all of a sudden?
Yeah, give me the deets that the boss won't let me.
Because I want you to solve this case, Mr. Date. I want you to find who did this and bring them to justice. So, if I can help you, even a little...
Why didn't you say anything at Abyss?
The boss was there. I couldn't speak openly in front of her. So, I decided to meet you here.
Now, we should take anything he says with a grain of salt, but I would like to hear what he has to say.
Alright. Let's hear it.
Earlier, I told you that I was completely certain the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes. I am absolutely certain the original Cyclops killer could not have committed these crimes. Let me explain why. I'll start by telling you the identity of the Cyclops killer.
Ooh.
Although, it's more accurate to say, killers.
More than one?
That lines up with the two figures.
In the first series of killings, the culprit had an accomplice. One of them was born a murderous psychopath.
That definitely does look a little bit different than Hitomi now. That I look at it. It's similar, but maybe not. I don't know what eye color she had. Hitomi, where are your, what's your eyes? Show me your eyes, Hitomi. Show them to me. I can't tell colors, man. Does she have a headband? It's kind of like brownish, but they're like gray here, right? I don't know.
The other is Rohan Kumakura,
Oh,
the previous chairman of the Kumakuras.
okay.
They each had a role to play. The murderer committed the homicide, and Rohan removed the eyeball.
No, Rohan is allegedly dead. Alright, is it us? Are we the damn killer. Looks like there's nothing here. Alright, who's the murderous psychopath?
He was born with a brain dysfunction. Due to damage to the posterior pituitary gland, he was unable to properly secrete oxytocin.
Oxytocin is a peptide hormone linked to feelings of love, affection, and trust.
Yeah, but is he us? That's all we need to know. Did we commit bad things, but then like our brain is fixed, so it's like, I don't know, can we try you for crimes or not?
It is colloquially referred to as the love hormone. It causes a tranquilizing effect which improves mood and relieves stress. It is normally secreted when the body makes contact with an object of affection, such as an embrace or caress.
I'm sure you know what this implies, but he was unable to feel love in the way that we do. However, he was able to experience a substitute. His brain was wired in such a way that allowed him to feel satisfaction through other means.
Well, that lines up with, you know, the Date we saw feeling extreme pleasure in the killings.
Due to the unique idiosyncrasies of his brain, he was able to release large amounts of dopamine and endorphins by performing a certain action.
What was it?
Murder.
Dopamine is a hormone linked to the reward system of the brain.
Yeah, but just, is it us? Are we pieces of shit or not? I don't know. Because it's kind of like an interesting question in a way. Because logically, one of the main reasons why criminals are punished, like, you know, by going to prison, is because they're a danger to society who need to be, like, siphoned off from everyone else because, you know, they can't be trusted until they've been rehabilitated, right? Now, of course, there's plenty of questions about whether prison works as rehabilitation or whatnot and blah, 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 but that's aside the point. But, like, if, hypothetically, you could change someone's brain to the point that they're a completely different person with absolutely zero chance of committing harm to society, they would even work to better society, should they be held accountable for their actions? And, like, that's... as a hypothetical, feels kind of hard. Like, in the abstract, it does feel like you would want to say, well, yeah, I guess. But then it's like, the more emotional side of you, like, would read about, you know, somebody committing, like, some fucked up murders, and you're like, nah, man, fuck that guy. Or girl. Like, I don't know. Because at the end of the day, I mean, Evil Date, I mean, he had the choice, and I think on a logical level, there's an argument for, like, yes, if you could change someone to that point, they should be allowed to re-enter society, but there's definitely an emotional part of me that's like, the people who were killed didn't get the chance to change.
The pleasant feeling attained through accomplishment is dopamine. Endorphins are a kind of brain narcotic. They dull pain and create a feeling of happiness.
He got pleasure from killing people?
It's slightly more complicated than that. Killing people was the only way he could get pleasure.
Well, he should have just been sad.
He was 12 when he took his first life. That enlightened him to the pleasure of murder, which he would do again and again.
Yeah, but is he us? That's all I want to know, man. I'll tell you, are you just a pervert or are you a piece of shit?
That...
like, I don't know. It's... I mean, the fact that it's, like, a hard question, I think means it's a good dilemma. Which is... I mean, presumably that's what they're going for here.
I don't know.
The details of the original Cyclops serial killings case have become nebulous over time. Even the official investigation material contains nothing of value.
I mean, it is a really interesting idea, though, to have potentially the original killer on the case of a copycat killer.
I am unable to draw any conclusions from them.
You really have no idea?
If I did, I would tell you.
Because, I mean, it could potentially be that maybe these new killings are meant to reveal the fact that Date is the original killer and he's just been allowed to basically be unpunished. So, I mean, I guess it's possible that, I don't know. Also thinking back to the flashback we saw at the start of the game when it comes to, you know, Iris's house. That maybe the other person we saw was Rohan? And he doesn't look anything like what we see in the, you know, his cut-in. But it's possible.
18 years ago, Rohan took a woman's eye.
Okay, 18 years, that's a pretty big gap. I mean, he does have brown hair. I mean, his build's very different. But I mean, it could theoretically be the same guy.
She was already dead. He put his finger into her eye socket and gouged it out.
18 years.
The reason why was simple. He was fascinated by women's eyes. Their beauty stimulated his greed and his desire to possess them. He needed to have them, to make them his own. Driven by this instinctive impulse, he took the woman's eye. From then on, he acquired a grotesque obsession with the eyes of dead women. He was very particular about his need that the eye belonged to a deceased woman. But even being the head of a Yakuza gang, there weren't too many opportunities for him to indulge. His deepest, darkest desire went unfulfilled for years.
So that would imply that, seem to imply that he's the red figure, the one watching.
However, he soon met his ideal partner, the aforementioned psychopath. The Cyclops killer would commit the murder, and Rohan would take the eye. Thus, a mutually beneficial relationship was established.
Now, we also need to consider, we shouldn't necessarily trust everything Pewter's saying as fact.
This was the origin of the Cyclops serial killings. At about the same time, you were assigned to Abyss.
Well, summarize it for me.
The original Cyclops killer had an accomplice,
There were 2 Cyclops killers.
and one of them was the former chairman of the Kumakuras, Rohan Kumakura.
Rohan committed suicide by jumping to his death 1 year ago.
That means... Pewter, tell me this. One of the original killers is dead, I know that. But that means one remains. Who is he?
After his 4th murder, he was arrested by the police. They actually picked him up on other charges. But, in any case, he is currently serving a life sentence in Fuchu prison.
Okay. Maybe it's not Date. Would have been interesting. It would have created a weird dissonance, though, where you're like, I don't really want to be Date anymore, potentially. But that's potentially or presumably the guy, that sent the message?
Fuchu prison?
I guess also the person Hitomi was visiting. It could be that guy we saw, like, maybe he was married to Hitomi and then, like, beat her up, didn't kill her. That's what they picked him up on. But for some reason, Hitomi still, like, forgave him.
Yes.
What's his name?
In prison, he doesn't have a name. He is simply called Number 89.
Number 89?
I think that was what they called the guy.
I know who killed Shogun Adami.
So, now you know why I said that. That the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes.
Yeah, but then what the hell is a Date?
Because one is dead, and the other is behind bars.
See, I don't know, there's definitely some sus things about that. Because if they have the person in prison, why would they not have closed the case? You feel like that'd be a great PR piece for them. Unless it's like, maybe the situation is, I don't know. Because like, if maybe it's like you can prove that he committed this one crime, but you can't prove that he committed the actual murders, but we pretty much know he did it, but it's not official, but there wouldn't be any reason to keep it a state secret, you know?
Neither of them had the opportunity.
I still feel like the idea of it being Date makes a bit more sense. Like, you know, maybe Date's supernaturally gifted at syncing or something, and the government makes the decision to have him be a key member of this experimental organization that would prevent more crime. I don't know. I'm not going to necessarily take everything he said as fact there. I think that would be a little foolish, because thinking about it in universe, I mean, Peter just showing up on his own, it could be that, you know, it's because the boss, you know, would have maybe contradicted him, that he's lying to us or not telling us the full story. So I think just keeping our mind and our head open, very important when it comes to these figuring this stuff out. Now, sometimes you can keep your mind too open to the point that you're overlooking what the game's telling you as well. You're too focused on trying to find the twist. And it's like, no, there really wasn't much of a twist, which is something that kind of happens to me occasionally. I didn't see her anywhere.
Where did she go?
Don't get your eyeball taken, boss.
Well, she isn't always here, correct?
True.
Sat down in my usual seat and decided to wait for boss. Hey.
What are you doing?
I thought it would be easier to talk like this.
What do we have to talk about?
A summary of the investigation, perhaps?
What summary? We don't have anything new.
That's not true.
Huh?
I was curious, so I did some research about number 89.
What about the Tanuki? I was remembering back to the Tanuki moment. Very funny. It just so happened to be at the very start of the video. Thing on a computer. Doesn't seem like you guys are saying much. Get looked at. Iva sitting on the desk. To be precise, the image of Iva sitting on the desk is being sent to my brain. Alright, what's 89's real name?
Unknown.
Thanks.
You don't know?
Is it Kagami Date? Because he did say that's not technically her name, right? At some point, that the name was given to us?
No such person is listed in the family registry. It is possible he is a foreigner, but his nationality is unknown. However, I believe it is safe to say that he was born and raised in Japan.
Okay. Who is 89?
As you know, he is an assassin with multiple confirmed kills.
An assassin makes it sound cooler than it actually is.
He is currently serving a sentence at Fuchu Prison. He was imprisoned 6 years ago.
That's what Pewter told us.
After his fourth murder, he was arrested by the police.
Remember when we talked to Pewter eons ago? Japanese games love their flashbacks, man. So funny. They just love their flashbacks as things that happened 4 seconds ago.
Unknown. I cannot determine if they have any connection. Approximately 1 month ago, Hitomi Sagan witnessed Shoko in Fuchu Prison's waiting room. I am unable to say for certain that the person she was there to visit was number 89. After all, Fuchu Prison houses 2,000 inmates.
But number 89 knew Shoko's name.
I know who killed Shogunadami.
Well, maybe you just watched the
That
prison.
must mean that he knew her somehow.
Prison TV. I mean, it would probably make the news in some form or fashion. I don't know. I mean, they probably have some access to the using there.
It is possible.
Not too often people get, you know, murdered in a abandoned district and then strapped to a carousel, merry-go-round.
Pewter claims that there were two culprits behind the original serial killings. One was the former chairman of the Kumakuras, Rohan Kumakura.
But Rohan committed suicide last year.
That leaves one culprit still alive, number 89.
But number 89 couldn't possibly have committed these crimes. He was in jail when each of the murders occurred.
Correct. However, I do not believe it is accurate to claim that he had nothing to do with the incident.
I know who killed Shoko Nadami.
Hey, remember that time number 89 said, "I know who killed Shoko Nadami"?
If he was telling the truth, his involvement is possible.
Let's talk to 89.
Let's talk to number 89.
I don't know if he's telling the truth or he's full of it. He's the last remaining loose end.
All right. However, we need not go to him. We can bring him to us. If we plan on syncing with him, it would be more efficient.
Hey.
Can you arrange that?
Yeah.
I can.
Alright, I'll take your word for it. After cutting through some red tape, number 89 was brought to HQ. He took considerable time to arrive. For some reason, Boss never showed up. Oh, that lady is dead. We'll keep going for a little bit longer, but save. Oh yeah, that's the dude. From the start, I'm pretty sure. But he had brown hair back then, I'd say. But his face looks like him, I believe.
Sorry to interrupt your busy day, but I need you to tell me something. I'd appreciate your cooperation.
Alright, what's your name?
Number 89.
Your real name.
I don't remember.
Is that because we stole your memories? Do we have your memories in our brain? Or something? I don't know. Where are you from?
Burkina Faso.
That seems unlikely.
Burkina Faso is a republic in West Africa. Population 17 million.
I knew that. Okay, maybe not the 17 million part, but I knew about Burkina Faso.
I don't have time for your jokes.
Wait, what if he's telling the truth? It's unlikely, but... Do you know Shoko Nadami?
Yeah, I guess I do.
About a month ago, Shoko visited Fuchu prison. Was she there to see you?
That's right.
What did you talk about?
Nothing special.
You're in no position to lie.
I'm not lying. She didn't come to hear me talk.
Then why did she come?
To meet me.
Meet you?
She probably just wanted to see me.
When did you first meet Shoko?
A long time ago. I don't remember exactly when.
What's your relationship to her?
A physical one. I'm kidding. She was just a business partner.
Business partner? Can't really imagine he'd offer all that many business insights.
That's right. I was one of the culprits behind the case 6 years ago. One of the 2 Cyclops killers.
Got in here, desk, height. Stop moving your hands, sir. It's us. It's the Dodster.
All right. Let's get right down to it. 2 days ago, you called Investigation HQ and said, I know who killed Shoko Nadami.
That's right.
Who?
Hey, don't be so hasty. We haven't agreed on a deal. You're gonna let me out of prison, right?
Absolutely not.
It's done. You've got a deal.
I don't think Tate has that authority, but...
All right. But to explain it properly, I need to tell you a story.
Alright, I think we'll hear his story next time. See what number 89 has to say. And then probably delve into his brain. Should be fun. Alrighty, I'm Extra Cheesy 87. Stay tuned for the next part. And bye, guys.